What is up, my friends? As most of you saw recently, I made my way over to Drumeo, and I'm so excited because we have a very special episode of Behind the Kit. Today we sit down with the co-founder of Drumeo, Mr. Jared Falk. We also sit down with the face of Drumeo, a guy that you know behind all of the awesome challenges, Mr. Brandon Taves. But then also we have a very special guest in Domino Santantonio. I'm so excited for you guys to see this one because we sit down at Drumeo. We talk about all things Drumeo, the gear, the drums, the dreams, and everything in between. So make sure, kick your feet up, grab a snack, grab something to drink, because this is a very special episode of Behind the Kit. Today, we talk to Drumeo. Let's get after it! Everybody, it's Kyle Smith here, Arizona drummer, and I'm joined by one of the most groovy and awesome drummers. It does feel kind of funny that we're super far away right now.
I know, right?
But Domino, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure meeting you.
It's a pleasure having you. So thank you for making time. So you're here right now filming lessons, right?
Yes, filming tons of things.
Yeah.
Ads, lessons, special video that I don't know about yet, but I'm gonna learn soon about it.
So how long have you been working with Drumeo?
Well, it all started in 2020, so I'm assuming it's been almost 6 years, even though it was the fall of 2020. Yeah. So it's 5 years and a half.
That's crazy.
Yeah, insane how time goes fast. I know.
That's crazy.
It is.
I remember that's how I first got introduced to you, was through Drumeo.
For real? Okay.
Yeah, and seeing some of your videos, and you are an absolutely super tight, consistent player.
Thank you so much.
Of course, I saw your video where you unboxed your Ludwig classic kit.
Yeah, oh my God, this has been a while.
Yeah, it's been what, almost 4 years even from
I
that?
think so, yeah, 4 years.
So how has that been for you? Because I imagine, Ludwig is, a legacy name in our industry. How has that been for you being an artist with them?
It's been amazing. I mean, I've been playing with a Ludwig kit for a long time now. The first kit I bought was actually a vintage kit, a 67.
There you go.
And this is still one of my favorite kits I have. And when they approached me to become an artist, I was like, are you kidding me? I'm an absolute fan of yours. And it's been great having that relationship with them. And I'm about to go actually visit their factory soon because I never been to their factory, so I'm really excited about this, and yeah, I don't know if it's a spoiler alert, but
this is great. I'm actually going to be out there too.
For real?
Yeah, sometime this month. I don't remember when.
They wanted me this month, but I can't, unfortunately. But I don't know when. Yeah. I don't know when. Yeah, but it would have been funny to see each other there.
That's awesome. So I have to know, obviously you've been playing drums your whole life, but what got you into it? How did you get started?
My father. I know it's so cheesy, but it's the actual story. My father is currently he's still a drummer, but he was a professional drummer in Quebec, the French part of Canada, which is where I'm from. And so I think I had it in my blood, even though I kind of not wanted to play drums, but it wasn't something that my father influenced me that much. He was not you need to play drums. Actually, I was playing violin before, so I was into music. Yeah. But then a day I woke up and I was like, Dad, I need to play drums. So we went buying a drum together because he sold his drums. It was big story. He wanted to be more there for his family. So I kind of took his place at playing drums, and I started at
move over.
Yeah, during high school, and from there I just loved it so much. And seriously, I think it's more than 15, 20 years now that has passed since I first started playing drums. And if you have told me 20 years ago that I would be here with you talking about my career, I would be, what the hell? This is insane. Yeah, it's insane.
I just put up a video the other day of me unboxing a snare drum I've wanted for 25 years.
Okay, and are you kidding?
And while I was filming it, I thought it was 15 years. And then I did the math, I was like, oh my God, 25 years, and I just feel so old.
Oh, wow.
But I know what you mean, it just goes so fast.
Yeah.
And so I think most of the internet knows you for lessons, Drumeo, obviously the covers, things like that.
Yeah.
But going out and gigging, playing live as well is definitely part of your skill set and things like that. But what are actually, to back up for a second, and then becoming the 2025 TikTok drummer of the world? That's pretty exciting.
It is, right? I still cannot believe it.
I can believe it. But so what is kind of up next for you? Like, what are some of the things you're planning on doing this year and the next couple of years? Like, what are you kind of working towards?
It's a good question, because I'm kind of like, I've always been trusting life. I know, again, this is so cheesy to say, but for me it has always worked like that.
Yeah.
But like my current projects would be working with Drumeo, working on my stuff, doing videos at home and having fun with this, like collaborations with companies. Possibly going back on a TV show that I cannot say much about it, but probably doing again TV things in Montreal. I know some of you guys don't watch the TV in Montreal. It's fine. But yeah, some cool projects there that are coming soon. But other than that, just enjoying life. I'm that kind of person.
Yeah.
Yeah, enjoying life, spending time with family, friends. Yeah, that's pretty much it, to be honest with you. Like, maybe there will be a surprise that I don't expect related to drums, or I don't know what else, but I'm open to all the possibilities. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's so exciting. And I agree with you, though. Like, that's when life is kind of giving back to you. When you let go of trying to control it and just let it do its thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't go into my story too much. I only have you for a few minutes, but
yeah, I want to ask you so many questions. I'm like, no.
we could talk again. But I put the sticks down in 2012 and professionally, so I could raise my daughter and all that.
Yeah.
And then came back in 2020, and I kind of just let it happen. And now it's like taking on a life of its own.
Yeah.
Our YouTube channels have very different sizes, but I think to the point of, though, we have the same mission, which is to share our love of drums with the world. So I'm curious, I know we only have a few more minutes, but of all the experiences you've had, whether it's taking your dad's spot or Drumeo, or even just what you were just doing right now, what are a few pieces of advice or words of wisdom you would give to the audience as they're kind of trying to build their drum career and trying to, establish themselves?
That's a really good question. I would say to just have fun with what you're doing. Don't doubt yourself, which is hard to do sometimes. Even I need to tell myself frequently, like, stop, Domino, you're doing great. Like, don't overthink it. Like, even with my English, for example, for me, I'm like, 6 years ago, I was like, never will I go in front of a camera and speak in English, because I was so shy, for example. So just go out of your comfort zone, because sometimes it's like the way to go, and you can achieve great things when you do that. Because at the end of the day, you're how do you say this? Like, you're the only one who can stop you from achieving big things. So I think that would be my main tips in life, and mostly having fun and being happy. So if you're doing something that makes you happy, it's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. And I'll say this, so Nikki Glaspie was on the channel.
Okay, yeah.
And so she said they call it playing drums for a reason.
I love that. Wow.
Because we play.
Yeah.
Right? And it's so much fun. And I will say this, you are so much fun to watch.
Thank you.
Because when you're playing, you got a big smile on your face, your hair is flipping. That's why I'm growing my hair.
You're getting there.
Yes, it's coming, it's coming. But like, you're having fun. And to your point, like, life throws enough crap at us.
Yeah.
Might as well enjoy the things we enjoy. So I am curious, how did you get started with Drumeo? Like, how did that relationship start?
It started with an email. I'm kidding.
And that was it.
That was it.
And I said no.
It's funny because it's for me, it was because of pandemic. The fact that I live in Canada was easier for me to come here because Vancouver is in Canada, Quebec is in Canada. So it's the main reason why, and the fact that I was starting to get popular on TikTok, they saw me and they invited me here to just film a couple of videos, just as a guest artist one time coming here. And I had such a great time here. And then after, they decided to kind of start that concept of Drumeo coaches.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that, but it was during pandemic, and they asked amazing drummers around the world to coach, like to do live streams from their studio, their house, because we were all staying at home doing nothing. So what else we could do except for doing live streams?
Yeah.
So they asked me to be part of one of those coaches. I was like, really? Like, are you sure, So I started doing this each week for like a year and a half, a live stream, chatting with Drumeo's member, and I loved it so much, like developing relationships with people that are like the other side of the camera, but still I could like speak to them through the chat and just having feedbacks. And for me, it was the first time I was teaching drums in my entire life.
Yeah.
Weird, right?
Yeah. You're like
alone in my studio in front of a camera, and I'm like,
in front of a million people.
that I don't see.
Yeah.
So I think this is when it all started, like that relationship. But the big event, kind of like the big project, was 30-Day Drummer, because when the Drumeo coaches ended, they thought of me for that new concept they had in mind. They weren't sure about it, and they were like, what about doing like a new special course in 30 days where you're like kind of training them, with a microphone and just playing and speaking at the same time in English. And I was like, sure.
Yeah.
So I came back here, and when we shot this, we were okay, let's see how it goes. And it was like a big success because of the students and all the incredible team here. And for me, it was a dream working with them on that. I was like just there and, okay, you want me to do that? Sure, I'll do it. And it worked. So the relationship started, it's a big story.
No, it's okay.
It started like that. And then I don't know how many times I've come here. A couple of times per year for sure. And we've been working on different projects, and they still are making me doing all kinds of like trial videos, oh, we have a new concept we want you to try. Similar to the first time hearing a song like the Slipknot one I did in the Mastodon, and it's when they asked me for that one, it was like at the end of a big shoot day, and they were like, are you good to go for like a special video? And I was like, sure. And then I see the big team arriving, and okay, now like you need to do something on top of that song. And I was like, what the hell are you making me do? But
I mean, you did great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
When I watched back that video, I'm like, I remember.
Sorry, Eloy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry.
No, you did really well.
Thank you so much.
Which, by the way, I didn't say this when I should have, but your English is fantastic.
Oh, you're sweet.
Yes,
thank you.
Of course. So,
thank you so much.
I don't know why you doubt yourself. Like, you're a killer drummer, great speaker.
Thank you so much.
Great attitude.
Thank you. The thing is, sometimes I tend to speak so fast because in life, in French, I'm like so verbal, blah, blah, blah. And in English, I'm like, whoa, Domino, like, slow the tempo. You're not as good as in French. So. But thank you. I really appreciate it.
I'm not good at any language, so that's...
Well, you speak really well English.
But I think we might be wrapping up on time, so here's what I'll say.
Okay.
I'll say thank you, number one. It's so cool we got to run into each other here.
Yay.
I will reach out to you to do kind of the bigger version of this. So normally it's called Behind the Kit podcast.
Okay.
It's like an hour, sometimes 2 hours.
Okay.
Where we can talk about everything. And you can ask me questions, I can ask you questions, we can go back and forth. It's a conversation.
Okay.
No, but I'll reach out to you. So we'll do a longer version of this, but for the 15 minutes or so that we've got to have you, thank you for making time for this. I know you've got a full day. So happy that you're partnered with Drumeo.
Thank you.
And is there anything you want to share with the audience just before we close up? Anything, whether it's advice, what's next, things like that, anything you want to share?
I mean, I'm assuming there are a couple of... Can I look at the camera? I'm not even
sure.
For it, okay, I'm like looking at you and you're there. You're there.
I'm going to start looking over here.
I mean, I'm assuming there are some of you there who play drums. I'm assuming,
Yes.
right? There are drummers there. So again, I said my advice is, but have fun with this. Don't be afraid to check out your favorite drummers' videos and just, I don't know, like become a member of Drumeo. And I hope to see you, if it's either on Drumeo, with you on another podcast, or with the covers I do and my day-to-day life as a drummer. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And again, everybody, I will have Domino's information linked down below, so you can go check her out on Instagram, on YouTube, TikTok,
Yes.
Drumeo, and everything in between. So make sure to check out Domino and take her up on her offer, because she's an incredible teacher. She'll teach you how to groove, which is really hard to learn, but she'll teach you how to do it. And if you don't do it in 30 days, you're done. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
That's it. Bye.
Yeah, I know. But no, on that note, thank you. I'll
Thank
let you
you
get
so
back
much.
to it, but thank you for making time.
Thank you. Thank you for
course.
having me. Bye.
All right, well, Jared, welcome to kind of a special edition of Behind the Kit, but then also just the Arizona Drummer Podcast. For those of you watching, I am joined by Jared Falk, one of the co-founders, right, of Drumeo.
Yes.
I want to make sure I say that right, but also, like, I think somebody who has shaped, influenced, and inspired every single one of us out there. And so I'm honored to have you right here on the channel with us. So thank you and welcome.
Thank you for having me, man. It's a pleasure to be here.
I say welcome, I'm in your home, but still. But, you know, I think one of the things that's so great is the culture you've built, not just within this building, and again, everybody's gonna get to see it, it's incredible, but the culture you've built in our industry. And so I kind of want to go all the way back and just talk with you about what started the idea. And I know you've probably told this story a bunch of times, but what was like the thought process that went in your mind of like, I want to provide the best education possible to the most drummers possible?
Oh man, we're gonna go way back if we do that. And it could take a while to go through the whole story. But when I was coming up, starting to play drums, DVDs were like $50 or $60 or $75. Like, and I loved drum DVDs. I'd get them and I would just play them over and over again. And the quality was like, this Hudson Music did probably the best job, Rob and Paul back in the day. But originally we started selling downloadable lessons on eBay. And that's before there was like YouTube and Facebook and all the social platforms. And quickly we found that people didn't really appreciate the downloads. Internet speeds were still dial-up. So we switched to DVDs and we focused on like educational topics. So like our first one was one-handed roll. The second one was bass drum secrets. Then it was like rock drumming. And we focused very like, because no one was really doing it then. No one was focusing on these little niches. And we would just sell them through like Google ads and things like that. And we did that for many, many years. And then YouTube kind of came out. And YouTube was this new platform and we originally went on it because to put the videos there was free.
Yeah.
Prior to that, it's like we had to put it on DVD, which like DVD authoring and replication and like maxing out credit cards was not like the most fun thing anymore. And then hosting our own videos, the downloads, was expensive because we had to like upload them to a server. We had to pay for all the hosting. So we started putting videos on YouTube, and then Rick, at the time, Rick Kettner, it's like we should create like a huge resource of free lessons and call it freedrumlessons.com. So I bought freedrumlessons.com for, I think it was $1,100. Someone else owned it. So I contacted them and bought it. And we like emptied our bank accounts and just went and filmed a bunch of free lessons. And everyone was like, this is not gonna work. How are you gonna make any money doing free lessons? And honestly, we didn't even really know. It's like where ignorance is bliss a lot of times when you're first starting. But we just kind of had this idea of like, we could use YouTube to connect with the community and really build long-term lasting relationships. This idea of like, give first before you ask for anything, right?
Yeah.
And so that kind of like took us to another level because those videos just got millions and millions of views. And I still hear today people coming up to me, being like, I learned on freedrumlessons.com and now I'm like touring with a band, or I'm playing in my church, or I'm, teaching.
Well.
So yeah, from there we eventually ran out of stuff to talk about. Because I was like, I can't teach anymore. Me and Dave are teaching songos, and it's like, we're not like Latin world music guys. I'm more of a rock pop drummer. And so that's when we started working with industry to bring out artists, because they kind of had the connection to the artists. So Lauren L. Lewis came out, Sonny Emery came out, Tony Royster Jr. came out, and that was the start of the artist development. So from there, it just kind of like continued to expand. As the reach expanded, we improved our product. We added other instruments, so I bought like pianolessons.com and guitarlessons.com, started filming content in those instrument niches, and now it's Musora. And Musora means music all around you, musical aura, and that's our app platform. It's the Music Lessons app, and you can learn drums, piano, guitar, vocals, and bass. And then most people see, watching this, probably they see like the Drumeo YouTube channel, the Drumeo Instagram, TikTok, and that's like its own beast, its own media property. I mean, piano has a really large social following, but it's become this like much larger thing now. I always say when people look at it from the outside, it's like an iceberg. They just see like the tip, they say whatever their piece of the company they're looking at. But we have a huge student base inside using our app, and it's just kind of like over the course of 20 years. I think this is my 20th year since incorporating, December 2005, or almost 21st year. And it's just like it still feels like a startup. It still feels like it could go away anytime. I'm just super grateful to get to do this.
Well, one, congratulations. 20 years is, we were talking earlier. I'm like, I've been doing this YouTube for 6 years, and I'm already like, so 20 years. But like, look what you've built, and I say that because, like, yes, there's the physical, right, of like, look at the studio space, and I mean, there's, 50 some odd people that are working, maybe more than that, that are
150.
150. Oh, God. I happen to meet maybe a handful, but right, so 150 people that are all employed, but all with the singular goal of providing education. And I heard somebody earlier when we were doing the tour, they said something about getting more students. And like, yes, of course, as a business, you want more students, but the mission statement, I feel like, especially you just said with Musora, like what it means is to help usher the next generation of musicians, but then also help supplement or aid in learning the current generation of musicians. And so I'm curious, because I've gotten to know you a little bit today, but of course through videos over the last 20 years, but I feel like you have this natural willingness to give and almost like a desire to share. And I'm curious, how do you infuse that? Because you can feel it all around walking through this building. But what are the core tenets that you put out there to be like, this is how we shape the future of music? Because that's really what you're doing here. Yeah,
wow, that's a lot of responsibility. So I appreciate that.
It's all on you.
Ultimately, the way I see it, it's like it's broken down to 4 things, right? We have our media, like YouTube and social media, that kind of builds trust and belief. Trust in our viewers that, hey, we can, number 1, entertain you, number 2, inspire you maybe to play music, and number 3, like, we can teach you if you want. We can actually do it. And not only that, but you can do it. So trust and belief in the person watching that they can actually play an instrument. Because we believe the world is a better place with more musicians in it. And I've never talked to anyone who says, I really regret clicking up the bass, or I really regret starting drumming. Like, just why did I do that? I've never heard anyone say that. And so media builds trust and belief. That's why we give so much away for free. And that's why it's like, it's hard. It's very hard to, from a business perspective, you talk about ROI and all the acronyms that you can in the corporate world.
Of course.
It's very hard to say what an ROI is on that sort of thing, but that's what we believe is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So media builds trust and belief. Marketing, we have a huge marketing team. Marketing basically like educates the people about what we actually do and how we can help them, and inspires action.
Yeah.
So once they believe that they can play an instrument, our marketing team steps in and like, okay, here's how you're going to do it, and here's how we're going to help you. Our product actually helps to create undeniable progress with the student. So if the student is working through our app and they're kind of moving through the curriculum, and they can see, I was there and now I'm here and now I'm better, they inspire progress, and then they're more likely to continue. Because 90% of people currently quit.
Yeah.
And if we can lower that number to 80%, quit after the first year, right? So if we can lower that to 80%, it's good for the entire industry.
Yeah.
And finally, and most importantly, and I love your channel because you're focusing on this a lot, is community. Community keeps people engaged. Yeah. When people feel like, I'm a musician, I'm part of this community, to get someone to that level, it's actually harder than you think. Like, someone will start playing piano with good intentions, but then it's really hard, so they drop off. But if they have a community surrounding them, helping them, they are much more likely to stay engaged and keep learning. So that's kind of like our thesis of the entire company and how I think of it. That's why those 4 things are so important when running this ship and trying to keep those core beliefs and those core tenets in our minds with every decision we make.
And it's like, like palpable in the air. Like there is I said this earlier, it's like a creative mecca. You know, like every room you walk into, you're like, I want to touch that. I want to do this. I want to, you know, because it is like every room is dedicated, but you also have so much talent, like in every space, and you have them where they can be successful. Like I got to see, you know, people editing, you know, whether it's lesson content or people editing, you know, the entertainment content, whatever it is.
Yes.
And then obviously we saw Domino filming content and Brandon. So it's like you're surrounded by this, and you create an atmosphere of the desire to create and the desire to inspire, like you said. And I think that one of the things that I love about this, and one of the reasons, like you were one of the first people that I wanted to talk to first. I was like, hell, we'll do it on Zoom or whatever. And you're like, do you want to come out? And I'm like, yeah. Was something that I have great fear of, and you guys are combating it, is not having a next generation of people who are willing to put in that work and that sacrifice of that first year of like learning the practice pad and learning your rudiments and getting to that point where they feel like part of community.
Yes.
And I think that that's one of the things that you succeed on all fronts.
Oh, thanks, man.
I mean, every drummer, I say this pretty confidently, just about every drummer knows who Drumeo is. And sure, a lot of that goes to giving the stuff out for free, but also it's about what type of videos you make. I mean, the Drummer Hears for the First Time series, obviously very popular. But what I love about that, and then I promise I'll get to a question, but what I love about that is it says, hey, look, this pro is going to be put in a really uncomfortable place.
Yes.
Let's see how they handle it. And not a single one goes, oh, I don't want to do this. This is too hard, and walks out. None of them do that. They go, this is going to be hard, but like, let's do it. I'm excited.
Some of them walk out. We
just cut it out. Mike Portnoy, no, I'm just kidding.
No, you didn't. Mike's great.
No, Mike went through tools, so like, yeah. But I'm curious, like, when you're thinking of these concepts, when you're thinking of like, how can we not only entertain, but like show some of these scenarios or show some of these tools, resources, skills that are even outside of just the drum set or just the instrument. How are you kind of going about that thought process? Because I really think that expands even the concept of just the instrument, and it goes past that into community, into professionalism, into etc. But I'll let you take over from there.
So how do we come up with those ideas to do that?
Yeah.
That's the Here's a Song was something that we got to the end of the shoot. Rashid Williams was the drummer, the first one that did that. And Dave at the time was the content director and said, hey, how about I just throw you a song that you hadn't heard before and see how you do?
Yeah.
So we dropped that video and it got like 300,000 or 400,000 views, and oh, people like that.
Yeah.
So we tried it again. We were out for dinner with Lionel Lewis, and we hadn't really thought much more about the format. And then we're like talking about Metallica, and Lionel's like, I've never heard of it. Like, he's heard of Metallica, but I've never heard the song we were talking about. I forget the one that
Enter Sandman.
Enter Sandman. And we're like, huh, no, hold on.
Everybody knows that.
Everyone knows that. And that's how everyone says in the YouTube comments. And there's no way he could not have heard that. And we almost cut the video because there's a few shots he missed. And as a drummer, you've played that song so many times, you're like, you should be hitting that, you missed that. But he literally had never heard it before.
Yeah.
And that was one of his first or second takes playing that tune. And so that's when we really realized like this caught on. So testing, always, trying new things. We're a creative company, and we're judged on the quality of our creative and our ability to execute at a high level and create a really, really solid product. Yeah. The second thing with those videos and the concept of that, the concept of some of the stuff we do on our piano channel and Mizora covers, is creating this vulnerable moment, which then creates authenticity. And people really respond well to authenticity. But it's also a bit of like this hero's journey where the story kind of writes itself. It's like it starts with this kind of challenge, this thing that people can see themselves inside of that story. And then it goes to this challenging moment where they're like, I don't know if they're going to be able to do it, which happens a lot.
Yeah.
We have had people like basically walk out on the format. Had a lot of people not want to do it because of the vulnerability that it creates in them. And then at the end, when they get it and they feel good, it can take Mike Portnoy, I think it took him 6 hours.
Yeah.
Or it took like Free Label did their cover in like an hour from start to finish. Yeah. They did Alice in Chains.
Or like Greg Bissonette, who's like, whatever, I'm just gonna.
Or Chad Smith, who hears the song and then literally starts playing it, and like that video took us like 15 minutes to film. It's like he's like, no, I nailed it. You know, he said, and so, but with Chad, there's less vulnerability, but there's just so much authenticity.
Yeah. Just in general, like he walks with it.
Yeah. So like vulnerability creates authenticity, and then you got to have a really solid story, and you have to always test, and not be afraid to try new things.
I love it because I do think there's a lot to be learned in those situations, whether it's on the surface, right, of oh, I wouldn't have approached it that way, that's interesting, or what was that fill, or what was that, like, what a cool arrangement. Yeah, I think about, we just talked about earlier, the Leprous cover of Take On Me, which is like, I dare to say, almost better than the original. Like, it's just so, I won't say that, but it's so good. And like it captures, it's something Brian Fraser Moore, who I know has been here before, he says that I love, which is capturing the essence and the spirit of a song. Because that's one of the things I love about the series, about everything that's done here. It's about capturing the spirit and the essence of whether it's the song, the lesson, the attitude, or whatever it is that you're trying to showcase. And I think that's something that gets lost in between the notes. Of, you know, here's the paradiddle, but what are you trying to say? And I think that that's where Drumeo really helps, not just Drumeo, but Missouri really helps take that the next step. Because not only do you have the platform, right? You have the application, you have the web, the online platform, you have the free material online on YouTube, but also like I think about, so I can't remember what kit it was. It might have been a Yamaha Stage Custom Birch kit that I unboxed on the channel. There was a free Drumeo trial right there in the box.
Is that recent?
Yeah, very recent. Yeah. And you know, it's one of those things where it's like you're literally giving an opportunity, and you know, it goes back to what I said at the very beginning of this, is like the way I feel like you personally carry yourself as somebody who's wanting and willing to give. You know, I'll say this, and then I know we're getting a little close on time, but what are some of the things you're thinking about for the future? What are some of the things you're thinking about as far as how can you continue to expand the company, expand the brands, whatever that is, to touch more students, lower that from 90 to 80% or whatever else we can do? And also, how can we creators help that message? How can we help kind of step in and supplement some of the stuff you're doing?
Yeah. So how are we expanding the overall reach of our message? One big area is accessibility of information through translation and localization. So we have an AI team here who built our translation system. So if you want to watch a video right now in Spanish in our curriculum, we've set it up so you toggle the translation, and the instructor's mouth will actually, there's no subtitles. It looks like they're speaking Spanish, and it sounds, it's in their voice.
Yeah.
So we use some new AI technology that we've kind of like put together to build that for ourselves. On YouTube, we're obviously doing subtitles because you can't do it in the way we do it on our own platform. And so we think that through improved language translation, we can reach like the entire world.
Yeah.
By the end of the year, we'll have 8 or 10 languages, something like that. And so now the content can like help more and more people. We're also going to continue to expand instrument channels. So we have like Drumeo, we have piano, we have a Singio channel, which we're getting it was started once, but it's getting restarted. And then Misora, what we're doing there is meant to be this place where we hopefully can inspire people to play music with each other.
Yes. Get
back in the garage, jam in real life with real humans. And it's amazing how many the bands come out, they talk about how cool it is to just like
jam.
This is like feeling like they were young, just starting again.
Yeah.
Instead of sending files back and forth. So cool, we can do that, it's a great tool, but it's nothing like just me and you talking in a room as opposed to on Zoom. That's why I invited you here.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more.
Right? So there's that stuff which we're really working hard on to hopefully try and like get more people interested in it. And then what we're doing in the platform is we're just like utilizing a lot of, number one, it's always a human first approach with us when it comes to education. So it's like making sure the student has a teacher that's an actual person. Okay, and then we leverage technology around that, but we're really focusing on that. Then building in certain like psychological levers like streaks and awards and gamified things to help keep people motivated to keep on going. And then obviously community features to like keep them there, keep them engaged. And so there's lots that we're doing just to try and reach more people and get them started playing music and help them to play for longer and longer.
I mean, that's the goal.
And at the end of all that, like I think we're a ways off of it now. There's some technology. There's a company called Ludwig that allows you to jam online.
Oh, I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, so it'd be really cool if you could like join Musora, and then you're a drummer, and let's say you've gone through to level 2 of the method, and you have a pianist, and we have a bassist and a vocalist that have all at the same level and like similar styles. It's like, hey, we could recommend that you join a band, and like hit this button, opens a window, you can jam in real time with the images. I always think it'd be cool if like one of a next big band like comes out of the Musora ecosystem in that way. Would be really like fun to see, I'm super proud of our students. So stuff, technology like that, helping people to connect more, helping people to play music with each other more, and just like really just enjoy the process of learning music.
Well, like how cool would that be? Like, especially because how often do you hear people who are like, I don't have a guitar player near me, I don't have a bass player. It's like, one, we all do, but networking can be tough. And it's like, we're already in this community together. Like, let's jam. Like, I'm all for that. That's such a cool idea.
Yeah.
I'm getting excited thinking about it. But, and then back to the translation piece, like so crucial, as far as how can you reach the audience because everybody wants to learn an instrument. Everybody has I shouldn't say everybody, but the people who do want to learn, who want to do this, are hungry for the knowledge. And so I love that and that technology sounds awesome, but that you're giving more access to more people so they can take part in furthering themselves, because that's what all this is about, right? Whether it's my channel, Drumeo, Musora, really any of the companies or organizations kind of trying to give back to the industry, it's about giving access to resources. And one of the things, I'm curious, as a content creator, as other content creators, using our voices to drive traffic back to Drumeo is a no-brainer. That's easy to do. But, also how I like the idea of us helping carry some of that torch. It's easy to go on and do a drum cover and be like, there you go. And I still want to do that. It's still fun. But, being able to say like, hey, here's how you can supplement the income, or not the income, supplement the education, going here. So those are some things that as I come out of this experience, as I come out of doing the tour and learning with you and working together, how can I help bring people to Drumeo? I can do so much from my house, but I'm not an educator, let's be honest. How can I get people to the resource that they need? And I think it goes back to that Yamaha example I just gave, opening the box. I don't know if it was Yamaha or something else, but I know I unboxed something. And the Drumeo, it might have been, what it was the Alesis Strike Pro kit. That's what it was.
Yeah, we work with Alesis and we work with Yamaha.
Yeah, but I remember opening it up and seeing it, and I remember like literally, I kept it for myself, but I pulled it out and I was like, this is the coolest thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm getting off on topic. But what I'll say to this, because I've already held you a little over, so thank you for making time for this, but what I'll say is to the audience, Jared, is there anything you want to share with them as far as it could be advice, education, parting words, or just stuff that you're working on that they can take away from this experience, and then of course come back, and I will link, of course, everybody knows Drumeo already, but I'll link everything, Drumeo, Musora, Piano, Guitario, everything, Singio, everything in there, but I'll kind of open it up to you to close it out for everybody.
Oh, awesome, thanks. The biggest thing, just back to your point of what you can do to help, I think the biggest thing is just trying to think about expanding the overall market and stop thinking of things as like zero sum, meaning if you film drum covers and you get a certain amount of views, that means you're taking away views from someone else's drum cover. It's not really the way it works, or it has to work. And I feel like that's the way it's worked in industry a lot with people that sell instruments. There's a lot of great companies there, but there's some that are focusing on like I don't want to mention names, but that company is our enemy, therefore we need to steal their market share, as opposed to saying, how do we just get more overall people to believe they can play music and then actually start, and then not put their instruments in a closet to collect dust after less than a year. And so if that's like the process that everyone in our industry thinks about, and trying to grow the overall market, it's just going to be better for everyone. It's like the classic rising tide lifts all ships, right? And so if you're thinking about what you could do, Kyle, or what anyone watching on YouTube channel can do, it's simply that, whether you want to try to inspire people through great content like you're doing on your YouTube channel, whether you want to teach people for free on Instagram, TikTok, or you want to create your own course, whatever you think you can do a good job of, you should really focus hard and do that. And like we don't always look at or anyone else who's teaching and has a student base as competitors. It's like, if you're helping to keep people engaged in the instrument, this is good for all of us.
Yeah.
And so that's like, I guess I'll end on that. It's like, just focus on like finding ways to inspire people and inspire yourself to do more and to keep more musicians playing for longer.
Absolutely. It's not a competition. We can all enjoy this thing together.
Yes.
So why not?
For sure.
Build the community. So with that, Jared, thank you. I'm gonna want to do like a part 2, part 3,
Sure.
But what I will say is, because I know that I've already taken so much of your time today, just thank you so much for opening your doors to me, to the audience, sharing that with us. And yeah, thank you for the time. We really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure, Kyle. Thank you, and thank all of you watching.
All right, guys, I am joined here by Mr. Brandon Toews. He does Toews, right?
Taves.
Taves?
Yes. Jared probably told you wrong.
He did tell me wrong.
He's got it wrong for like 15 years.
Taves? God, I'm such a dick.
No, you're good. It happens all the time.
All right, well, I'm here with Brandon Taves.
Yes, that's right.
Which he needs no introduction. I mean, you have become the face of Drumeo. I don't care what anybody says. But because like your videos are awesome. Every video
Thank
you're
you.
part of, but then also like your like clear passion and love for the drums is so prevalent in every video.
It makes it really easy to be like that when you're surrounded by the people that work here that I'm sure you've seen throughout the day and in the spaces. I mean, we're in a studio right now. Like as a kid, I only dreamed of being in a recording studio, and now that's just kind of day to day. You're in and out, and you're with other people, and it's just an inspiring place to be all the time. So,
it's like I can't. It's funny. All day I've been sitting kind of in different versions of this room, and I can't not want to like
Totally.
because it just because you're surrounded by music, and like all you want to do is play.
If you ever walk around to the rooms where the media teams and the education teams are, you'll see. I don't know if you want me talking to the camera.
Whatever works.
You'll see people like tapping on their desk or tapping on the floor, and you're like, yeah, you're a drummer, you're a bass player, and we're everywhere.
Yeah. Well, there's also like an electric drum set in like every office space, so that people can just sit down and jam. I think it's. Like I was joking with Jared, I'm like, so are you hiring or?
Yeah. Oh, we always are.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But no, I mean, like you have, I mean, really over the last several years become like the face, in my opinion, just very prevalent on the channel. But like your journey with Drumeo starts way before that.
It does.
And so I know you've told the story probably several times, but maybe take us through just a quick synopsis of or summary of like, here's how I got introduced to the company, here's how I became the face of Drumeo.
Yeah.
And all that good stuff.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I have to thank Jared and Dave, who are the architects of. I mean, Jared and Rick Kettner started the company so many years ago, and then Dave and Jared with all the content, introducing artists, and somehow I ended up in the position where I was around those guys watching how they did it, and I'm just grateful that they trusted me to step into their shoes with, those are no small shoes to fill. Those guys are geniuses. So I'm so grateful to be in this position. But going back to the beginning, so I remember freedrumlessons.com. I would have been maybe in grade 8 or 9 at the time when I started to see those videos floating around. And I remember downloading them all. I'm like, well, what if this site gets taken down? Like, I want to keep that video and know how to tune my snare or whatever. So I remember seeing the videos. I'd been with my drum teacher at the time, who I'm still really good friends with, for around 8 or 9 years. I was in grade 10. I was planning on going to post-secondary to study music and become a professional musician in some capacity, whatever that looked like. I think I wanted to be a studio musician when I was in like grade 9, and then I found out, oh, people are recording at home. That's not like as much of a thing anymore. Like, okay, well, something to do with music. That's what I want to do with my life. And so I was looking for a new teacher, fresh set of eyes to give me some new perspectives. And Jared, through friends of friends and family friends, I had seen a Facebook post from him saying that he was looking to teach 4 private students. He was doing the online thing, but wanted to keep his in-person chops up. So I reached out, I'm like, hey, I'd love to do lessons with you. You're the guy on these videos I've been watching, and this could be cool. So ended up taking lessons at a local Long and McQuaid, just actually down the road from here. And we stayed there for around like 2 months, and we were on some crappy entry-level kit with pie plate cymbals. And he's like, you know what, we should just go to the Drumeo studios and do lessons there. Number one, Jared doesn't have to drive to the studio, or sorry, drive to the music store. I'll just come there, I get to play on a cool kit. And it works out.
In a studio.
In a studio like this, and well, we were on a farm at the time out in Matsqui. So we did lessons, and we did that for around a year. The second year was kind of on and off. But I showed up to those lessons. The first lesson was like, I had never been told I sucked before. And essentially, Jared tested me on technique. He made me play like a songo, Afro-Cuban groove. And we did a play-along track that he was writing for Successful Drumming at the time. I think this was like 2012 or whatever, something around that time. And I played it, and he's like, well, why did you play a tom in beat 4 of measure 3? I'm like, I don't know, it sounds good. He's like, well, no, it didn't. And so just like,
actually,
he just like beat me down to the ground, like metaphorically or whatever. Because I was like the best drummer in my high school, which was a small high school, and but it was good. It was like, I'll never forget that first drum lesson, and that kind of like changed my perspective, and kind of gave me a new perspective on like, oh, maybe I'm not that good. Maybe I still need to work hard, and maybe I'm lucky to be in this position with a teacher like this. So it started like getting the wheels turning. So we did lessons. I went to university in Edmonton. I got my Bachelor of Music degree, studied music performance, so all styles of music, played a lot of jazz. I got into like Elvin Jones, Tony Williams, Max Roach, but still loved metal and all this stuff. I played in bands in high school bands and all that. But went there. I wanted to keep my toes in the Drumeo world. And so Jared basically told me when I went off to school, I'm like, dude, I'd love to come back here and work when I'm done. And he's like, well, things change around here pretty often, so like, we'll see. Like, cool.
Yeah, you're like,
all right.
Shit.
I'm just gonna go work my ass off and see what happens. And then I think it was like 3 months in, I'm like, hey man, like I'm coming home in a few weeks. Like, is there anything I can do? Like, well, we're actually short transcribers. Like, can you transcribe? Like, no, I don't know how to do that, but I could learn.
Yeah.
So I learned how to transcribe, and he's like, you're too slow, you're too slow. So I got fast. And then I was just like pumping out transcriptions and doing that remotely while I was in school. Fast forward, doing school, I started writing the Best Beginner Drum Book in the Drummer's Toolbox. So more in like the product world. Never planned on doing that, but like, this is cool. Like, I could graduate university and have a book to my name, or 2 books. That's cool. So I came back, only was doing books. So I'm trying to do the really abridged version.
You're fine.
But I always wanted to be on camera working with the artists that came in, and I always loved like leading teams. And that's what I told, I took James, Jared, and Dave out for lunch. I'm like, hey, I want to come back. I want to work here. What do you want to do? And I told them those 3 things, and they're like, well, we don't have any openings for anything like that. Cool. So I ended up doing books, which was great. And all of a sudden, I think it was right before COVID, Dave got promoted to like head of all content in the company, which made total sense. And there was this opening in Drumeo, and I was project managing at the time. And I'm like, okay, that's the role that I want. I get to learn under Dave. I've been watching him for all these years, like produce content. And the role presented itself, and I guess now 6 years later or something, it's kind of been going from just curriculum development and Dave kind of having his hands helping me with all the planning and stuff, and now I have my team doing YouTube content for Drumeo. I work with other amazing content directors and script writers and things like that. But yeah, kind of all things Drumeo, YouTube, and media is my world now, and it's like the most fun job in the world.
Dude, congratulations.
So, thank you. I know there's a lot of like other details and stuff with how it happened, but basically from being Jared's student to him trusting me enough to take over that part of things. And I always say, if I showed up to lessons unprepared, I wouldn't even be working here.
Yeah.
So that's always like kind of the takeaway I try to share with people is you never know if the person in your band or your drum teacher or your school teacher, whatever, you don't know how they're connected or who they're connected to. So 110% all the time, no excuses. Yeah. Someone wants to be in that position, so do the best you can. You owe it to yourself and to everyone else.
Dude, well, I was just about to say, like, if anybody watching this didn't take away the through line of that story, it's you didn't give up, you kept working, you kept getting better, you pushed for what you wanted. Like, these things, oftentimes we hear, oh, I got lucky, or I got lucky. And sure, there's an element of luck to some of these things, but I, and maybe I'll get crap for this, but I generally contradict that statement, or challenge it. It's maybe a better way to put it. I think that we put ourselves in positions where opportunities arise. We don't get lucky. And it's all the work that goes into it that happens. Because again, like you said, hey Jared, I want to do lessons. You come in, you're not prepared. And he goes, well, this isn't working.
Yeah, get out of here.
But you had to do all the work to get to a place where you could be prepared to have those lessons to then even put you in a position where you could even have the dream that you now get to live.
For sure.
And like, I'm sure, I mean, you deal with pros every day. And one of the things that, with our podcast, so there's Arizona Drummer channel. And then there's the Behind the Kit podcast. The podcast is where I interview pros and we talk about what it takes to be a professional and get the gig, keep the gig.
Love it.
But you are there with them, you know, watching them through their process and how they're attacking the instrument. And I'm curious, you know, what are maybe 2 or 3 things that you see across all of the pros that you work with that you're like, this is consistent. These guys or gals all have these 2 or 3 things that really kind of step them apart.
That's a great question. One thing I've noticed is I'm often surprised at the music that people listen to and what they're interested in, because it's rarely what you would expect. It usually doesn't align with the world they work in. Chad Smith being into Motown, same with Phil Collins, like he wasn't listening to a lot of prog, he was listening to Weather Report and old Motown and like 1950s, 60s, like soul records and stuff. Trying to think of other examples, like Will Hunt from Evanescence, super into funk music. Rarely is it like Eloy, who plays in Slipknot, he's listening to like Lorna Shore and I don't know, like Cattle Decapitation or whatever. Like, I'm sure people listen to music in that world, but usually their favorite music is from something entirely different, which I love. I always love asking people what they're listening to or where they came from musically. I found in the studio with a lot of people, everyone has like their preferences and their ways of doing things in a studio. But a lot of people do still have like tricks that they do that work for them. Rarely is it like, out of 100 drummers, everyone comes into a studio and does things exactly the same way. I remember I was blown away, this was maybe like 8 to 10 years ago now. One of the first artists I ever filmed with was Jim Riley from the Rascal Flatts. And we were doing a bunch of educational stuff to a click track, and we had all the tempos mapped out to a quarter note click. And he asked for an 8th note click. And I'm like, 8th note click? Like, isn't that like cheating? He's like, man, I record everything to an 8th note click. It's just more references to the time. I'm like, huh, even the pros are doing that. Okay, I guess it's not cheating, like, and it came up over and over again. Oh, double the click, double the click. And that's just one example of like, oh, people still, like as students, we find things that work for us with how we learn or how we practice. With professionals, they have ways of working in a studio or live performance. This works for me, and I'm just gonna go with what works for me. So that's been really interesting. I'm trying to think of like other common threads. Usually, I mean, we do a lot of that stuff like on the spot. Pretty much everyone has some element of nerves with those types of things, and I love how professionals oftentimes can like channel those nerves into like motivation to perform better.
Yeah.
I love that. But yeah, there's common threads, and usually, like, I know some people say like never meet your heroes, or like the more famous the person, like the meaner or the ruder they are. Hasn't been the case.
No.
It's like 99% of people who come through here. I probably shouldn't say that. Almost everyone who's been here has been like awesome.
Yeah.
Across all instruments, bands, and some of the biggest musicians we've ever had out have been the most down-to-earth people. And we still talk like years later.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like some things I can think of off the top of my head.
But I love that you said that, because that was one of the things that surprised me the most on the podcast. Is like, you know, you're talking to Gavin Harrison or Brian Fraser-Moore, like these guys who are like, these are the drummers, and they're all like the nicest, sweetest, like giving and kind.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to name names, but there are other folks who are a little bit lower on the, maybe not the popularity scale, but just the awareness scale.
Yeah.
They're shredders, but they're also kind of dicks.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't even know if I want to put you on the podcast and give you so it's interesting though, because to your point, like in my opinion, and I think you would agree with this, a true professional is somebody who doesn't look at this as a competition, whether it's by skill or popularity or band size or whatever, and it's somebody who has put in the work, understands what works for them, but then also is willing to give back, you know, and willing to kind of pass the torch, or not pass the torch, but create opportunities, you know, and education and awareness for the next generation.
Yeah, those are definitely like the most inspiring and fulfilling sessions like that we do here. Like when people are passionate about sharing stories, exercises, like whatever their thing is, you can tell when they're passionate about it and when they're like, I don't know, like those happen. Yeah. And that's totally fine. And especially when, I don't know, if someone's been performing for 60 years and that's just the way they are, you've earned it. Yeah. Like whatever you want to do, that's totally fine. But the ones that are like really fulfilling are the ones where it's like, we're all musicians. We all come from different backgrounds, different skill levels. If I played for 20 years and you've played for 60, at some point, I'm sure we overlapped in some way, and there's wisdom to impart down to me and other students, and those are the ones we love.
Yeah, it makes me think of, and I'll keep it brief because I know we're a little bit over. I can go as long as you can go, I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I got a few more minutes.
But the ones that come to my mind are, you know, Cody Ash, the Tommy Lee Challenge. I just had him on the podcast. We talked a little bit about it.
We love Cody.
He is fucking great. Excuse my language, but he just, like his energy is infectious. Yeah. You know, same thing with Portnoy. And, you know, again, I've been watching the channel forever, like we talked about. But what I love so much, I was talking to Jared about this, what I love so much about what you do is, one, it's a game, it's fun, especially when you put them on the spot. You're like, haha, like, I got you. But the thing I like about the vulnerability of it is it is showing to that next generation, or to those aspiring musicians, of like, even the pros can get caught off their toes. You know, even the pros can have to kind of take a step back and be like, hold on a minute. And it goes back to what you were talking about with like the music they're listening to. I think the bigger perspective you have on music, the more, I guess, ingredients that you can put in your recipe, makes you prepared for moments like those, you know, where it's like, hey, I'm gonna throw this, I can't remember the band off the top of my head, but it was like a jazzy kind of, not jazzy, it was like a funky song you gave to Eloy. I can't remember the band, but like
Wolfpack.
Thank you, Wolfpack. He crushed it. And like, again, Eloy can do anything, but the fact of the matter is it just shows, and everybody's like, oh my God, I don't want to do this. The question that I have for you though is, you're in those scenarios, and obviously you're managing the team that's creating the content, right? Like you're kind of spearheading that. Have there been some situations where you've had to like help or like coax those people into kind of, it's going to be okay, like you got this?
Yeah, for sure. And that format, or that type of format, is always interesting because pretty much all the non-musicians love it. It's like, wow, like music is so fun and exciting. How do they do that when you have no frame of reference as to how even someone plays drums, and now you see someone do that from within 8 minutes or whatever. It's mind-blowing. But it's funny with drummers because there is a group of people out there who think like, we're out here to expose musicians and like, and make them uncomfortable and all that. And that's never the motive. And some people will always think that, and that's okay. But like you alluded to, the whole transparency is like, I remember when Dennis Chambers came out, I had listened to all those Schofield records and so many of the things that he had recorded on. I'm like, man, how does Dennis think?
Yeah.
Like when he steps into a room with Schofield or Victor Wooten or whoever, like how does he, when he hears that bass line, like what is the process of him, his first time hitting the kit to, okay, I'm gonna record this.
Yeah.
Like trying to figure out, like no one has seen that. So the idea is, yes, the element of vulnerability to relate to the students and the audience who know what it's like to be in a position of, how am I gonna do this? And it's not to attack their reputation or any stuff like that. And yes, like there is vulnerability and you are putting yourself on the line, but we've seen time and time again, I think we've put out 60 episodes and there's probably another 50 already filmed.
I believe.
Time and time again, the overwhelming response is like they develop a bigger fan base and people trust them more and like them more because they showed them that they're human.
Yeah.
And who doesn't want to see their hero be even more relatable than they already were?
Yeah.
So going back to your question, managing the emotions in the studio, like as you can imagine, and as many of you see in the episodes, it can be nervous, freaking out. It can be like a little bit like upset. It can be super excited, anxious. Like there's this whole spectrum, and I love asking those questions before we start because usually it turns out, I mean, it always turns out great.
Yeah, every time.
And we always pick something that we know that artist can shine on. They don't know what we picked ahead of time, obviously, but we grind in the other room picking 10 to 20 options that we know Eloy will be able to do his thing on, or Jess Bowen will be able to do her thing on. Yeah, you don't want them to crash and burn.
Yeah.
If they crash and burn, we don't even get to put out a video, and they don't feel great. Like everyone loses at that point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's like a managing of emotions, and my favorite thing is watching the story arc of, I'm so nervous right now, what are you gonna give me? I'm listening to it, okay, what am I gonna do? Oh, what if I did this? And they start to come over the hump.
The creative
and
starts.
Like the engine starts moving, and then they play it for the first time. They're like, okay, like that worked. I'm gonna get rid of that. And they develop this part in the span of an hour.
Yeah.
And then they crush it on the final take. And it's just this journey of a student learning a song. And you get to see the whole range of emotions. And then this, I don't know, this like walk into the sunset at the end. For the most part, sometimes there's some twists, but yeah, that story I think is so cool to see overcome the challenges.
And I think it's like central to Drumeo, of what Drumeo is trying to do, is help students get over that hump and get to a place where they are just playing like it's nothing. So I'll be mindful of time, but I do want to talk about the Genius series.
Sure.
Was that your idea? Is that something that was given to you? Because like, what a cool concept to be like, here's a drummer, let's highlight their experience, and then you set up the kit like their kit.
Yeah.
I know that Gretsch kit has tons of shells.
Yeah, I think it's like 26 or 27 shells now.
Tyson was telling me.
Insane.
But like, was that kind of an idea that you had, or even if it wasn't, obviously you've made it your own. So I'm just curious to hear more about how that came about and how you kind of tackle those challenges.
That format was a passion project for me. It started in 2021. We call this like our dark era of YouTube, where we were kind of in between people running the channel. Jared was like more involved as a CEO. Dave was now managing all the content. So there was kind of this like void, and we were trying things. We always talk about Jared did this video where he was like drumming along to sprinklers. And I'm sure if you go back in the channel history, just type in Drumeo sprinklers and you'll see it. This was a like dark era of YouTube. It was like kind of cool and creative, but like it wasn't really resonating with the audience. And I also think that was like a transition point where they're like, okay, our audience up to that point it was all drum lessons.
Yeah.
Like 5 beats for this, solve this problem, teach this technique. Like that was the bread and butter. And it's funny, like we sometimes talk about, we may have swayed too far in recent years, where now we're trying to introduce more lessons on the channel, which I actually love. That's like our roots.
I love to see that like mixed. It's nice to see it like you kind of get a little bit of everything. But anyway, I don't interrupt.
So 2021, that's kind of like where we are as a channel, and they're trying stuff. And I was in this point where I was filming a little bit, and I'm like, man, how can I be different from Jared and Dave on the channel, where they have 10, 15 years, whatever it was at the time, experience teaching online in the drum space? I come in, who is this guy? Like, why would I watch his videos opposed to Jared and Dave's? Because they're so good and they've got their thing. I'm like, well, okay, like I come out of university, I love research, I love music history, I love all styles of music. I love putting more work into something than anyone else would, trying to do crazier things than maybe Jared and Dave have time for. I was, I don't know, like 22 at the time, and I'm just like, I want to make the best videos I can. So all of those interests, like, okay, all of those things are different from what Jared and Dave love. Jared and Dave love 90s rock and fusion, Weckl, Dave Matthews Band. Like they had kind of solidified, like, and the audience knew kind of what their interests were. I loved like the history aspect and all that, and didn't help just coming straight out of university, and that was my world for a while. So like, okay, I'm gonna put that into a video. So I did a video on, we called it The Genius of Alex Van Halen, and at the time it was just 5 Alex Van Halen beats with like a little bit of history. But we kind of built the Fair Warning kit, and it was, I think it hit like 100,000 views in a day. And at that point in time, that was unheard of. Like we were in this slump. We're like, huh, people like this. That's cool. And my approach was like, I am not the Van Halen expert by any means. I grew up listening to the band, but come watch this video, nerd out on my favorite drummer with, or let's nerd out on Alex Van Halen together. I'm your teacher, but I'm also a fan of this guy. You guys watching the video are all fans of him. Let's just do it together. Cool, so we did that video, and then like, okay, what if we did a Neil Peart one? So we did The Genius of Neil Peart. It's like 5 or 6 grooves, expanded it a little bit. People loved it, not like million views. So I was just trying to like find myself in this sea of content, and like, what is my stamp? Which I mean, with musicians and artistry, that's like, I still don't know who I am as a musician in this sea of people. Like, what's your thing? What's my thing? What's Chad Smith's thing? What's Sleep Token's thing? Like, we're all trying to find what that is, and over time that develops, and even in business and content, I think that happens. And I don't think it was better or worse before, and now it's better or worse than it was. I think it's just a different era, and I'm different from Jared and Dave, and we kind of just, it took a little bit of my personality, and that's kind of just the way it went. But that all started just as a passion project, because I love all these great drummers, and I wanted to find a way to connect with the jazz musicians and the metalheads and the rock musicians and the people into pop. Like, so yeah, we try to cover it all. And now, years later, I think we're 6 years into doing it, or 5 years, we're just into like specific songs and the stories of, we've done Stairway to Heaven. We just filmed, what was the last one we just put out? War Pigs, we just put out.
I saw that,
And we're doing Funky Drummer next. And there's a really cool story with that. It's Clyde Stubblefield got paid equivalent of, I think it was like $25 in 1969 when he recorded that, and it's been sampled 2,000 times, and he's not making any royalties on that, which is like brutal.
Hashtag drummers.
Yeah, exactly. But there's like a legacy there, and there's a story that I think a lot of non-musicians don't realize. So yeah, kind of tapping into the storytelling, recreating the parts. I love recreating the kits and the setups, and it's made, I used to be like my snare needs to be this high, and my toms need to be perfectly level with this. And if it's my own setup for a gig or whatever, like I'll do that.
Yeah.
But I really just don't care anymore because it's like, oh, I got a 16-inch rack tom today. Oh, next week I'm on an 8 with no ride and a center china and hi-hats on the other side. Like, okay. So yeah, it's been like a fun. It's been good for personal development.
Yeah.
But I think the audience has enjoyed it so far, and I hope to keep doing them. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody loves seeing, one, I think the kit recreations just in general. People are like, yes, we love this. But then to hear the story behind it and to understand, back to the human element. And then to see you go, no, now let me show you how it goes, and you have the transcription. I mean, it's a great lesson because it's a fun way to teach.
Sure.
And you said it a second ago, but like we're in a generation, in an era where like you have to just grab and then hold on to the attention because it's so easy to just bored, you know.
Yeah.
And I love the way that you go about it because it's fun, it's exciting. It's like, oh, I know this song, but I didn't know that about this song or about the people who were in it. And especially because when you show the transcription, you play along, there might be things like, I remember, gosh, for like the first 10 years of playing drums, I played Smells Like Teen Spirit wrong.
Yeah.
I think most of us did, right?
Yeah.
Without hitting the ghost notes. So it was, I remember like seeing transcriptions when I was, in my 20s. I'm like, oh shit, I've been playing that wrong
it's
the whole
like that.
time. Yeah, and then now, now it's second nature, but it's like, oh, I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
And I love that. And I also, not to like pivot really hard, but it kind of ties into this, thinking about, one, all the fun stuff you do with Chad, because Chad Smith's like almost like
He's the best.
He's like a guest host now. But even like, the Phil Phil Collins stuff that you did with Nick and like doing that documentary. I mean, like, there's a very, like, clear attention and intention on showcasing the history and the people and the creation and, like, the legacy of it all.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, and maybe sometimes maybe it's to a detriment or to my detriment, but I know, like, I can get hung up in a lot of those details, and I almost look at what we do on the media team, like, number one, it's like, we need people to know that we sell music lessons. Like that is our like sole mission, is to have more people playing music.
Yeah.
Like end of story. It's like, we believe music is going to make your life better. But through that, it's like, okay, people who love all these bands or these artists, like they may love Estepario. There's a lot of people who don't play music who love that guy. And he's insane and he's this mad scientist. That could be the catalyst. But then there's these people who love Phil Collins or like Bill Bruford or Liberty DeVito with Billy Joel. Like they have all these stories, and I look at it as like, well, we're also kind of in the seat now we're like responsible for preserving a lot of this history, because if we don't do it, who's going to do it? And it's always a fun challenge with, okay, like these projects aren't free, so how can we do this in a creative way that also promotes like teaching music in some way? And you'd be surprised, like a lot of these amazing drummers support, or they love music education, or they took lessons at some point, and hearing those stories could be the thing that gets your neighbor to start playing guitar. Or so I always love we are preserving music history, but also at the same time helping create it with some of these things. Like I hope that in 20 years, 50 years, people still watch the Phil Collins documentary and they actually remember him as the incredible drummer that he was. Of course, everything else he did is unbelievable, but for us, it's like I grew up listening to Genesis records, and I knew Phil for, yes, he had the voice of an angel, but what he played on the kit was revolutionary. Yeah. And there's been, I think a lot of people have forgotten that, who have come along who are my age or whatever. So if we're not going to do it, who's going to do it? Yeah. So I love that challenge. It's never ending, but it's this like constant like, oh, we can get the next guy or the next artist or band or whatever, and just keep telling that story. And whatever leads to more people playing music at the end of the day.
I love it. Yeah, so everybody from our generation is thinking about, oh, that's the guy who did Tarzan.
Exactly, which is Tarzan and the Lion King.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it.
Elton and Phil.
Yeah.
Like, end of story.
I guess one more question.
Yeah.
Because we were supposed to do 15 minutes. It's almost 40.
Oh, let's do one more.
So one more question, then I'll let you go. So one, thank you. I just want to say that first.
Of course.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
for
having
making
me.
time. We'll have to do maybe a more official, like behind the kit one-on-one
Sure.
podcast. Those are usually like 1 to 2 hours.
Yeah,
but
that'd be great.
It's a more of a conversation, and it's about you specifically, not just your role here. So we'll figure that out after.
Nice.
But for now, I'll just say thank you for this time. And if you're going to give this audience, because at the end of this video or throughout this video, I'm going to kind of sprinkle these interviews. But if you were to give the audience, whether it's advice or something to take away, or even just like, hey, these are things that you should be mindful of, what would that be? But then also, because I don't want to forget this, share with them kind of what's coming up next for you. Because I want to make sure we shout out for you a little bit too.
Yeah, nice. I would say, number one, if you play an instrument, I hope all of you do, play it because it's fun and you love it. Don't play it because, like, yes, there's health benefits, and I know music makes you smarter and it engages different parts of your brain. That's all great. But like, play music because you actually love it. It's so much fun to play music with people, play music by yourself, like whatever it takes, just do it. It's so much fun. That would be the first one. Second one I kind of alluded to earlier, whether it's being a professional musician or you work at a company or you run a business or you're an athlete, like whatever it is. I don't know what your current demographic for the show is, but I am a huge advocate of someone out there would love to be in a lot of these positions. People around the world, I know we're reminded every single day, we get emails from students all around the world saying, how can I work at Drumeo or Musora? How can I want to play on a drum kit like this? And remember where you are and how you got there, but also put in the work to stay there, you know? Like, someone wants to be in the position you're in a lot of the time, and don't take it for granted. Because I know there's a million people who would love to hang out with all the drummers who come through the Drumeo studio, and it's a constant reality check of, okay, I've been put in this position, I'm grateful to be here, and I am determined to outwork anyone who would want to take that. And if one day that happens and there's someone better, I'm sure I'll be able to help out in some other way, but until that happens, I'm like determined to do 110% whatever. So that would be like an encouragement to all of you in any field you're in or any hobby you're in, put in the work. And especially in music, what you put in always equals what you get out of it. And that's one reason I love music and playing an instrument. So yeah, that's kind of rambly, but
no, I couldn't.
Hopefully that's helpful.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Like, I'll say this, then I'll give you a chance to kind of shout out what you've got going on. There's a couple like sayings on the channel. One is do the work. Another one's don't
Love
be,
it.
Another one's don't be a dick. But
I couldn't agree more.
but do the work is the kind of common thread throughout Behind the Kit series. Nobody gets to where they're at without doing a shit ton of work and sacrificing everything. And I love what you said. Like, I've had people, like, I posted like a little story of me being here, and people are like, oh my God, you're so lucky, that kind of thing. I'm like, no, I booked a flight. I talked to Jared. I scheduled it. This is a year of planning. Like,
That's awesome.
Like, but it's, if you want something, go after it.
Yeah.
It's way easier to just want it.
You'd be amazed at what a cold email or DM or phone call or showing up to a jam session and meeting X person, you'd be amazed at what that can do. You just got to put yourself out there and see what happens.
Exactly.
Shoot your shot.
Exactly. But let's give you a chance. So for the audience, what are some things you want them to take away? It could be Drumeo related, it could be you related, whatever it is that you want them to take away. And I'll make sure your stuff's tagged as well as Drumeo too. But
take away, like, what's coming up? Or
what are you working on? What should they be excited about?
What's coming up? We talked about the Genius Of series. Got some really crazy ones in the works that I've always wanted to learn how to play Hot for Teacher, the intro, and I've been interviewing people for 3 years about how it was recorded. It's kind of this part that's never been fully demystified, and the stories I've heard from Greg Bissonette, Ray Luzier, producers on the 1984 record, who I unfortunately can't say, which maybe we'll get creative with that in the edit. Bunch of people, Wolfgang Van Halen. We've captured all these stories, and we want to recreate that. So I've never learned how to play it properly. So starting, I think, next week, I'm going to be learning how to play that, and we're going to film it. And we're going to show a little bit more of the process of my struggle getting to the final take. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. We're going to be back at the UK Drum Show in October or November?
I think it's October.
October.
I think it's November, right?
Yeah, 2026. So got some stuff in the works there, which is going to be really fun. Always love doing like the in-person stuff, because I love the whole digital world and on-camera stuff, but it's fun with like groups of people in front of you and like real audience interaction. So looking forward to that.
Sorry, I think I'll be at UK Drum Show with you guys.
Oh, nice.
So anyway,
we can do more stuff there.
Exactly, but
That's
keep
great.
going.
And what else? We've got a really cool course coming out in April and May on Drumeo with a really cool drummer who we just had on, who's played with a bunch of very big artists. It's a cool year for like education on the channel. Chad Smith's just came out. That was a big launch.
Yeah.
And we've got a few more peppered throughout the year. And yeah, new formats on the Drumeo channel. I've been in the creative zone in the last few months, and we've got some cool like game shows I've been putting people through that are kind of like an IQ test for drummers, which has been really interesting when you're comparing like professional like band musicians versus like content creators, and yeah, kind of some cool formats in the works there. So yeah, we're kind of like early in the year. Lots of new guests going to be on the channel. I think we've gotten like 10 planned and booked so far. Some big ones, some surprising ones who you may not know, but they'll blow your mind. Yeah, lots of stuff.
So stoked.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, because I've held you way over.
That's good.
Thank you.
Of course.
I'm so excited for all that stuff. Jared said something earlier, when it comes to gaining the trust and belief of the audience. A lot of it had to do with the vulnerability and authenticity, but you individually have gained a lot of trust and belief from the audience. I don't think I'll say this, I can confidently speak for the drumming community, so if I'm wrong, they can tell me in the comments, that you are a trusted resource, which that's all we ever want to be, right? If we're in these spaces. And so I just want to say thank you for giving me so much time, but also I think the thing that comes through most clearly is your passion for music, your passion for education, and your passion for reminding people that this can be fun, even when it's challenging. Especially when it's challenging, is probably a better way to say it.
There are days that suck.
Yeah.
Straight up. They happen to me too.
Yeah. And I just say thank you for being on this, but then also just for what you're doing with the community, because as I go into 2020, as we continue into 2026, but the Arizona Drummer channel went from like entertainment only to now it's about resources, education, and providing access.
Yeah.
Hence why I'm sitting in this room is a lot of people can't fly to Drumeo and have a conversation with you, but we can, and we can talk about all kinds of crap. And so I just want to say thank you for being part of it, giving people access to how you're thinking about things, and also I think reaffirming the perception that you've put out there of being a nice guy, but somebody who takes this very, very seriously, but not in a way that's like stressful, in a way that's fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's all anybody could ask for, especially from a teacher. And just talking with you, we're on the same page with a lot of things, but I'm taking stuff away from you, even in this conversation. So
I love what you say about even with building trust. Anyone who has an audience or students or whatever, trust is, regardless of music, it's tough to gain, but it's quick to lose.
Yeah.
Like, it's something that you can't take for granted, because it takes one post or one thing that goes against what you've said all along for all those people who have trusted you to just bail. So yeah, it's so important, and thank you to all of you for having me on the channel. And dude, this is great. An honor to be here. So glad we could do this.
Absolutely. So I'll just say thank you. I'll cut it there, and then.